In unraveling deception, every word weighs in on a hidden, darker truth.
Second I need him. She wanted to make sure he had a phone so she can get in contact with the man that took her daughter's life and has been abusing her for years. Let's make sure I can get a hold of him. We don't want him to go to jail. What the heck, man?
There better not be anything that happens in this house anytime in the near future, because that looks suspicious as hell. So that's the kind of stupid stuff you're going to be thinking about if you're a truthful, innocent person, thinking, why are they locking down the house? What do they think they got? What are they suspecting? When she says, I had a feeling that you were shutting down the house because you knew something. To know it means that she is aware that there is physical evidence in the house. And the only way that she can be aware of it is if she was involved in it. She has to be aware of the details of the crime in order to be aware of the information that they could find. So this is the first example. Let's take a look at the second video here.
How do you feel when you say you need the lawyer?
He didn't believe me.
He didn't believe me.
When I told him when Doja Forensics is closing down the house, they fucking something, or there's something, like they know something.
She's trying to reword it. Who says that, guys? That gets me so heated. They fucking know something, and she's like, oh, wait a minute, I better not say they know so. Well, they know something. Like, I'm not sure what they know, but who says that? Nobody says that. All right, let's keep going, because I'm gonna just go off, and I'm getting angry at her.
Something's happening. They wouldn't be locking down the house.
Yeah.
One thing I say continuously is that the statement has to scream deception. If you find one indicator amongst an entire statement of truthful statements, that indicator is probably that person's brain searching or thinking of something that they weren't sure of its veracity in that moment. And so it can cause a stray indicator to go into a statement. If somebody is being deceptive, it's going to scream deception. So because she said that, it doesn't surprise me that she's going to say something like that again. Here's a different question. How did he feel when you say he needs a lawyer? This is a continuation of the last one. She says, he didn't believe me. And she says that in a question.
How do you feel when you say you need the lawyer?
He didn't believe me.
He didn't believe
me. Says that as a
me.
question, it means they don't believe what they're saying. Actually, look at this clip right here to reinforce this point.
We did a massive experiment in our lab where we had people play two truths and a lie with us. Overwhelmingly, one of the biggest patterns, there's a couple of different patterns, but one of the biggest ones was that liars asked their lie statement. Liars typically accidentally use the question inflection. The question inflection is when we go up at the end of our sentence. So it sounds like we're asking a question, even if we're actually using a statement.
Okay, so you see that what she says as a question means it's deceptive.
That's a good point, Microwave Cheese. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Even after she knew what Stephan had been doing, she still chose to support Stephan and not her beautiful daughter, Maddie. Incredible. And like I just said, she texted Chris in the middle of all that, and knowing what Stephan had been doing to her and the police had told her, and she saw the pictures, she freaking texted Chris and said, get a lawyer now, and then come up. And of course she lets Chris pay for the hotel room because she's a freaking mooch, a drug addict mooch that should be in jail. But yeah, you're right, Microwave. She's nobody in their right mind that's not involved in that would do that. Cosmic Thrifter said, I love you, Jay. I just laughed my when you express so it's driving me nuts. Hashtag arrest Jen Soto.
Like when I tell him, don't you see forensics is closing down the house? They know something, or there's something like they know something. She's actually pulling from a memory here because this is direct and this is straightforward. And you get an inflection of emotion here. When she says they know something, she is panicking. Now, when somebody says, I was panicking in this moment, that's deceptive. We'll see stuff like that later. But when the emotion comes through in the verbiage, it's an indicator of truthfulness. So at this point, she is beginning to panic. And she's telling you that she was telling Stephan at that moment that they know something, and she repeats it. She says 3 times in here, they know something. She doesn't say they suspect something. She doesn't say,
oh, she knew
something random, irrelevant to this, and now we're going to get locked out of our house. An innocent person is going to be thinking, why are they doing this? What do they think they found? You're going to have a lot of questions. This emotion, this verbiage, this restatement of the thing that is the most prevalent.
And the worst part about it, well, the thing about the worst part is that they the worst and the best part, you guys, is that Stephan and Jen could have never anticipated that this thing was going to blow up the way that it did, that we were all going to be laser focused on those interviews from the media, from the interviews, from the interrogations. They had no idea. So when you look at it in totality and you take it and you put that next to that interview and next to that, and you got this guy writing down every word and analyzing it, they could never have imagined that, especially not Jen the Potato Soto. So she was like, I can say anything I want and lie right here. Yeah, I saw her in the morning. Yeah, we dropped her off. Oh, yeah. Oh, write my statement. Oh, yeah. She never freaking imagined. Because in Florida, that shit happens all the time. You see someone on the news station, something happened, they died, and it moves on. She didn't know that this was going to happen. Nobody could have guessed. And yeah, I'd like to say, well, in fact, no, bitch, no. Sorry. All right, guys, let's keep going. Hit the like button. We need 1,000 likes here.
On her mind, if they found something, she knows that they could both be going to jail. That's what she's worried about. She doesn't realize that the word no is not the same as the word suspect. She also doesn't understand that the emotion that she should be feeling in that moment as a truthful, innocent person is different than the emotion that she's expressing. And so this stuff leaks out. She tells you that she knows in that moment, before anyone's been arrested, before Madeline Soto's body has been found, Jennifer Soto is still.
And by the way, the big thing, there's 1,111 people in chat. So I'm going to stop it for a second and say a prayer for Maddie that she gets complete and utter justice, which means that Jen Soto gets arrested and that everything is charged. It goes, obviously, everybody's prosecuted, charged, and Jen is part of this. Sunshine, you're absolutely right about that.